Sylvia, I had something very interesting. Go ahead.
Well, what I did want to say is that I thought it was ironic what you said about the 42% of Americans are conservative, because it just reminds me of the figure that drives me mad. The stimulus package was 42% tax cuts, and that's something that you always hide, and 32% aid to the state.
Well, give us a list. 42% tax cuts. So that would have been about $300 and some odd billion in tax cuts. Go ahead, about $300 billion. Go ahead and tell us what all the tax cuts were.
Well, the tax cuts were, I mean, they seem small, but for some people they're more important than for others.
Well, tell me what they are. I didn't ask you to analyze it. Just tell me what they are.
It was about $800 given in tax credits at the end of the year.
Okay, a tax credit to whom?
To all taxpayers, I guess. And I think
No. You guessed wrong. A lot of money went to people who don't even pay taxes.
Yes,
Is that a tax
I remember something about that because people felt, they're the neediest also, and they shouldn't be, people without jobs.
Well, it's not a tax cut. Well, I prefer to use what we call the English language.
Well,
that's called welfare. When you give people money who didn't earn it, that's welfare. That's redistribution. That's not a cut. That's a gift.
Well, Mark,
you know what? I can't take you. Get out of here. Good Lord. Annoying. I know, Mike, why don't you let her talk? Why the hell should I? Another yenta? First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I am a professional talk show listener. Have been all my life, since I was 12 or 13 years old. When yentas used to come on the phone, I had to turn the volume down when I would listen to my favorite host. I couldn't take it. And I must tell you, as a host, I can't take it. She was not going to list any of the tax cuts because they're all phony. It's a joke. All right, let's see. Where are we? And we went through this the other day, besides. Remember, I asked you to call if you got one of those great tax cuts, and people were calling about how they got $8 a month. Yeah, wait until next year when the massive tax increases come. What are they going to say then? We're fiscal conservatives. What a slimy bunch, these lying leftists. They create a massive debt, then they raise taxes to say that they're fiscally conservative, they want to balance the budget, even though they're destroying the economy. Then they say tax cuts. Most of the money, 42% tax cuts. Well, we know full well that in many cases, these so-called credits went to people who don't pay taxes. It's not a tax cut, and I refuse to allow the language to be bastardized. This is the key. Do not accept the tyranny. Do not accept the abuse of the language. Do not accept the gradualism, even when it's at a faster pace. Don't accept it. Don't say, all right, tomorrow it won't be so bad. We can live with this. No, we can't live with it. And we're going to reach a point when a federal judge violates the United States Constitution by imposing his opinion on the entire society. The people are going to say, I'm not complying with it anymore. That day is coming. I believe that day is coming. Because lawlessness begets lawlessness. I explained it in Men in Black. If the Constitution doesn't mean anything, then why the hell does a federal court decision mean anything? Do you get my point? Why does a court order mean something if the Constitution means nothing? Why is lawlessness accepted as law, but the law is rejected by the lawless? Try and stick with me. So I say to the left, if it is your position, and it is with many of them because they've written it, like Richard Cohen, like Thomas Friedman, two of the mental midgets of the left who are held up as smarties. If it is their position that the Constitution should not be enforced, then why shouldn't our position be that precedent, judicial precedent, is meaningless too? Why should we honor courts that don't honor us and the rule of law? As I say, lawlessness begets lawlessness. If you have no respect for our our governing document, then why should we have respect for those individuals who destroy it? I'm not trying to wax philosophical here. This is more logic than anything else. All righty. Let us go to Thomas, Detroit, Michigan, the great WJR country. How are you?
Oh, I'm tremendous, Mark. Thank you so much for taking my call. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd like to point out something about the liberals that I don't think was really aired quite at all, is that when the Bush administration sent me 2 checks of my own money back, as a tax rebate, I was very grateful for that. And he didn't send it to just conservatives. He sent it to everybody. And, excuse me, I don't recall any of the liberals saying, I'm offended by Bush sending me a tax rebate. I'm going to send it back. The hypocrites, they cashed it,
Well, you know what? You actually, there's a follow-on point to what you're saying. And your comment has reminded me of this. Why are tax cuts horrible unless Obama can get credit for them? Have you noticed that?
That's true.
Why are tax cuts so horrible unless Obama can get credit for them? Then we're told how wonderful Obama is with his tax cuts. All right, my friend, thank you for your call. I appreciate it. Corrigan, Baltimore, Maryland, listening on Sirius Satellite. Go.
Hey, I'm glad to talk to you. You might remember me. I'm Kevin Martin's friend. We met at the healthcare event back in
yes, sir.
a year ago.
It's a pleasure. I literally have 90 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, real quick. I'm a 20-year health brain tumor survivor. Healthcare is a individual right, not a constitutional right. I'm here in Maryland. If you want to find out what I'm doing, please go to www.Vaughn for Maryland. I'm like you. I'm a conservative. I'm tired of hearing these liberals and these wannabe Republicans who are not conservatives talking that jibber-jabber but not really doing something to help our citizens both in this state and in the nation. So I thank you for your time on the show right now, and I'll tell Tom Maher that I spoke to you.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Well, one of the points he raises there is this government-run stuff. It doesn't treat human beings as human beings. This is the point I made the other day. None of these massive government entities do. You're a statistic. You're a group. You're a formula. You're a model. You're not an individual human being with individual needs and individual problems and individual successes. Everybody's to be treated the same way, except them, of course, the masterminds. They're special. They're treated differently. But the rest of us are treated like crap. Sorry, it's a cost-cutting measure. Sorry. Well, okay, let me buy my own insurance. Sorry, you can't. Because the Constitution says we have the power to tell you you can't. Where does it say that? Well, Judge Schmagegi, Mr. Judge the jerk over there in Detroit, he's decided that the Constitution allows tyranny. It's right there in black and white, right next to abortion. Congress can do whatever it wants to do, the president can do whatever it wants to do, and more importantly, the court can do whatever it wants to do. Now what are you going to do? This kind of behavior by these government officials and the people that run these institutions is pushing this society toward the edge. It's taking a tolerant society, a law-abiding society, a civil society, and turning it into something else. And the people are not going to settle for it, I don't believe.